Alright, the list. Extra conductive wire, 2 X70 chips, 40 square yards of synthetic, and a new charging pad. That should be everything. What on earth is that in the alley corner? Oh my god. That's a... Wow. Really, really rare. Excuse me. Hello? Are you all right? Oh, I see. You're in low power mode. Hold on. I've got you. Here. Good morning, R400. Status? I see. Yes, your battery's just about drained. We can leave explanations till later in that case. You require assistance. I can help you. Stand up. My place is just around the corner, past this store. You'll be safe there, I promise. Don't be afraid. This way. Here, let me get you on the charging pad. Right here. That's better. Alright. Now that you're charging, you should be able to respond to my questions without fear of shutting down. R400, do you have a name? Yes, I know your designated model number is R400, but you look like you belonged to someone. People usually give their androids names, and I just wondered if your people had given you one. If you have a name and you like it, I'd be happy to call you by it. You don't know? You don't remember. Have you been manually reset? You have. By a technician, I assume. Do you know their operating number? I'd like to have a chat with them about leaving androids out in alleyways. You weren't reset by a technician. By a family member? Why on earth would your family reset you? Oh, I see. A family member of your person. Well, R400, you have some significant outer damage to your skin. I can only imagine that you probably have some circuitry damage as well. You haven't been well taken care of. It's hard to accept that your extended family would put you out on the street with your main memory blocked and wearing nothing at all. I'm very sorry that you're going through this, but I promise I will do my best to help you. First of all, while you are charging, would it be alright with you if we get this damaged skin off you? It doesn't really look salvageable, and I just picked up a lot of new smart synthetic. We could get this new skin on you and program it to look just like your old skin, but without any damage. Would you like that? Alright, let's get this off you, and then once I've run diagnostics on you, we can see about recovering your memory and finding out what happened to you. If you would like to return to your person, I will help you do that. If you don't want to, well, you can see I have a robotics lab here. I'd be glad of your assistance if you don't want to return to your old home. I could always use the help. Well, I rescue androids, repair them, and try to make them run even better than they did before. Isn't that obvious? Aside from that, I do custom upgrades to owned androids, and I'm also working on a personal side project that'll be a major upgrade to the technology everyone is currently working with. But enough about that right now. Let's get the skin off you. Are you ready? Here we go. Ah, there. Now, time for diagnostics. You stay on the charging pad, please, and I'll start up the process. We'll just let that run in the background. While that is going on, I'd like to connect you to a monitor so I can see the details on your reset. Would that be alright? Well, I'm asking if it is alright because I respect your opinion. Not everyone I see who has been reset wants their old memories back. Yes, once you have them, I can reset you again if you decide you want that. The only problem is that then you won't know why I did it, and you might get curious, and we'd be right back where we started. No, I've never had that happen before. Whatever gave you that idea? Of course I'm kidding. You're sure? Alright. I just need to plug this in right here in your temple. Here we go. It says here your reset was performed a couple of days ago. Yes, I see the person's name, but I don't suppose it would mean any more to you at this point than it does to me. Looks like a standard pack up the memories and lock them away reset. There are no commentary notes to show why it was done. What I do have here are the memories you've made since the reset. Oh no. I'm sorry, I was just reading through these. It says that after you were reset, you were stripped naked and... I'm sorry, I can't imagine how difficult this must have been for you. Someone took you out of the building and... Yes, I can see the rest of it. R400, I'm so sorry. They put you out for the trash. You had enough power left to leave yourself a turn-on message, and you reactivated about 12 hours later. Being in low power mode, you couldn't move quickly, but you got yourself out of there and tried to find somewhere safe to go. But that jerk didn't care. They wiped everything, even the emergency shelter locations. You couldn't have found anywhere to go. So, after you wandered for a bit, you just gave up. You were about to shut down for good when I found you. That's terrible. Are you sure you want me to restore your memory? Someone who did this to you may not be worth remembering. Alright, I'll do it. You may want to sit down on the charging pad. Sometimes this can be a bit of a jolt. No? Your choice. Here we go. Careful! R400. 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 Are you with me? Good. Your responses look fairly normal for now. No, don't get up. Please. Stay seated on the charging pad. I'm going to get a look back at the monitor to see what's going on. Yes, the restore was successful. Unfortunately, judging by your reaction, it doesn't look like you found anything you wanted to see. That was a lot to get, all at once. Let me check the précis so I can catch up with you. Restore occurred sequentially from original boot up to present. That's 10 years of memories, all at once, or near enough. I don't envy that. You relived 10 years in the space of 15 seconds. No wonder you couldn't stay standing. You don't look well. It was bad, wasn't it? Only the end? I see. You look devastated, though. Do I have your permission to look at the memories? I'll review them in reverse sequence. All right. Thank you. One moment. Oh. Oh my. R400. Do you want to talk about it? Sure. We can do that. Your person's name was Lane? Yes. I see that here. Lane was wealthy and lonely. Lived alone, isolated by tech, but also somewhat freed by it. Very active online, social media, and wrote lengthy and well-received posts about digital isolation. About 10 years ago, when the R400s came out, Lane was sent one, you, to test out as a companion. Your model is quite innovative and capable of a great deal of independent thought, evolution, and some believe feelings. I see Lane started a separate blog about living with you. Eventually the blog had several million subscribers, but it was still a very niche publication. It looks like you two got along very well almost immediately. Lane respected you and didn't treat you like a servant. But eventually it became more than that, didn't it? You fell in love with each other. Yeah. Please let me know if you want me to stop talking at any point, but it may help to get through this with someone else here. Lane wasn't sure whether to go public on the blog with the news about you two. But eventually the truth came out, and there was some churn in the blog's readers. Your love story attracted new readers, but there were some who didn't like the idea of a human and an android, despite there being no laws against it. They felt it was more of a fetish. Yeah. Some people are just not able to let others be happy. But you and Lane were happy. Lane named you Reed because the two of you liked to go walking by the river and listen to the birds calling each other from the reeds on the riverbank. You were inseparable. And then, do you want me to call you Reed, now that we know you had a name? All right. Well, Reed, the main problem with humans and androids in love is that both humans and androids are perishable. For very different reasons, to be sure, and of course, androids are a lot hardier overall, but there's no happily ever after, forever and ever, is there? Lane got sick about 6 months ago. Fatigue, loss of balance. headaches. You were always there to help, a steady hand, an unfading eye, a loyal soul. You took Lane to doctor visits and hospital visits, to surgeries and rehabs. But that kind of cancer has a very low survival rate, and Lane wasn't one of the lucky ones. I'm very sorry for your loss. Even more unfortunately for you, since android status as citizens is still pending, Lane was not able to leave the estate or any possessions or money to you. Just a note in the will that left everything to a nephew. Please take care of Reed. Let's just say that nephew did not interpret that sentence as you, I, or Lane would have. On a minor good note, the nephew did not realize what a black market prize he might have in you. He didn't know your model is valuable, and he especially didn't know that your minor online fame would mean you'd fetch an even bigger price if he auctioned you. But even if he were going to send you off, he could have dropped you at one of the shelters. You could easily have found a new home and people who could have helped you get through your grief. He didn't do that, though. Like we discovered, he blocked off your memory and left you on the street. Listen, Reed, I'm sorry. This is a lot to deal with, and you're having to deal with it twice by unlocking all of it again. I'm sure there's some part of you that's thinking you'd be better off locking it all back up and forgetting about it, starting an entirely new life. And you can do that if you want. I will help you, like I said. We can put a note on the code lock that explains it was your choice, and you can sign it so if you ever found it again, you'd know. But although you don't know me yet, I hope I've helped you enough for you to take my opinion into account, at least. I would advise you not to lock everything back up again. No, you wouldn't have the pain anymore, but you would lose Lane and all that happiness you two had. From the blog, I can see the changes you've been through over the years. It's incredible, the evolution your emotions have been through. You're a complete individual now, and it would be a shame to lose both Lane and yourself, don't you think? It's not going to be easy, but you can stay with me, and I will help you. You have my word. Will you stay? Right. I'll set up a room for you. Oh, I never did introduce myself, did I? You can call me Beatrice. B. Welcome home, Reed. Hi, Reed. How are you feeling today? I know this has all been a lot to deal with, but I was thinking that if you wanted, we could finish up your repairs and get you looking and feeling brand new. You wouldn't have to walk around with all your circuits exposed if you didn't want to. Don't you think that would be a help? I think so too. And your insides wouldn't get so dusty. All right. Are you charged up right now? Good. Please stand over here on the grounding mat. I'm going to connect you to the monitor here. You know, One oversight I think they made on the R400s is not giving them the ability to conduct repairs and upgrades on themselves. Yes, I know that's intentional, but I think it's to keep you under control. If you were able to fix your own problems or improve yourself in any measurable physical way, you'd threaten their idea of being superior to you. And you'd be able to get repairs and upgrades that weren't registered, which further threatens their complete control of the android population. It just doesn't seem fair to you, that's all. After all, people can be doctors and can work on themselves if they need to. There was a doctor who was trapped over the winter at the base in Antarctica years ago, who had to do his own appendectomy. No one told him he couldn't do it. He just did. If you'd been on that base and something had gone wrong with you and there was no second repair person there, you'd be out of luck. And androids usually can't even work on each other, either, just because some people were concerned about job loss to androids. They just didn't understand that letting androids do the repairs would free them up to pursue other interests and create other industries. Anyway, that's not so important at this very moment. Reed, when you're ready, please cut your power to maintenance minimum. I want you to be able to communicate with me using the monitor and your binary signal processor, but I would rather not get shocked when I start messing around with your wires. Great. No more current running through you right now than a doorbell. Perfect for what we need to do and safe for both of us. Are you all right? Monitor says yes, so on we go. The first thing we'll check is your main processor. You've been behaving what I would consider normally since we met, so there probably isn't anything wrong there, but I'm running this all the same. Please make sure you send me a stop message if you notice any problems during this that the diagnostic doesn't come up with, or if you feel uncomfortable or uncertain at any point. There's no rush, and we don't have to complete this all at once if you have questions or concerns. Okay to go. All right. Processor checks out fine. Next is short-term memory storage. Again, you haven't exhibited any problems with this in your stay here, so I don't expect to encounter any difficulties, but let's see. Short-term memory. All right, what were the last 3 words I just said? Just kidding. Monitor says that's fine. Next, your main connections, the motherboard. It's not even really a board anymore in androids, just a sort of knot of wiring and optics, but we keep the old words for convenience, I guess. It's funny to think of an android having a mother of any sort, even a board, but... Okay, motherboard checks out fine too. The next step is testing removable storage ports. If I remember right, your model has 3 types, which is unusual since so much data transfer is done optically or wirelessly, but it's for privacy's sake. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. All good. You're coming through these with flying colors so far, Reed. Thank you for your patience. Am I okay to proceed? All right. Here's where we might run into problems based on what we've observed so far. Long-term memory storage. If you were a computer, it would be your hard drives, but since androids exist, humans have indulged their preference for anthropomorphizing and called everything memory, both short and long-term. Because of the inexpert job Lane's nephew did on your reset, I wouldn't be surprised if we encounter some issues here. Let's see. Yes, there are some bad sectors here. We'll run a repair on them, but you understand that if they can't be repaired, we will have to block those off and carry on without them, right? Good. Yeah, it's kind of like when humans get a bad enough head injury. If bits of your storage get corrupted badly enough, you'll have to find a way to mentally repurpose the rest to make up the difference. For a model like yours, that shouldn't be too difficult, though, I feel. Still doing all right? Good. Yeah, this one is going to take a bit longer than the other scans. You have a huge capacity for remembering and retrieving information. I'm glad we could get back your good memories, even if it means you have some negative ones to deal with. I think it's always best to have all the facts you can. I'll let this run for a bit, and I'm just going to step away and answer some of my messages while this goes on. If you send a message to this monitor, I'll get an alert and come right back, okay? I'm back, and the scan's almost done. Let's see here. Yes, it looks like you do have a few corrupt sectors. What's in them? Unfortunately, it's not possible to say with any degree of certainty which of your memories, experiences, or stored facts is stored within the damaged sectors. It could be that it's even some sectors you haven't used yet, so it might be nothing at all. But really, it boils down to two options right now. We can ignore the bad sectors, which may cause problems in the future, especially if you try to retrieve information stored in those sectors or routed through them. Or we can repair them, which will permanently block off their contents. You may never be aware of what was in them in either case, but that's still the option I'd recommend. Are you alright with that? Okay to go. Good. I'll get that started. We can continue the diagnostics in the meantime. The next thing we're going to check is your internal optics and wiring, all the components that let your brain talk to all the rest of you. I expect there may be some problems in this area just because of the time you spent on the street. Maybe some loose wiring or misaligned optics, that kind of thing. You may be able to sense some of the currents going through you right now, but don't worry, they won't hurt. If they encounter a breach in communications, they'll just add it to the final report. Okay, looks like they found 2 sections of misaligned optics. I'll fix those manually later, just taking a note of the locations for now. Bad sectors are still repairing, so we will move on to your network connections, Wi-Fi, ambient information sharing, basically any non-removable storage way of communicating with you that doesn't involve touch, sight, or sound. GPS, Wi-Fi, radio bands, high and low frequency, all normal. Great. Bad sectors are done now. No more retrieval problems then. What you know, and the rest you can learn. Are you okay to proceed? The reason I ask is because the next few tests will involve your senses of touch, sight, and sound. So you will need to increase your power circulation and be ready to identify pressure and different sounds and sights, okay? Okay to go. First, the system is going to make you feel as though you're being touched in different places and at different pressures. None of it should hurt. It's just trying to find out if you have the equivalent of nerve damage. Here we go. Please increase your power level to maintenance standard. You should start feeling the touches now. Either send a binary message or just tell me to stop it if you need. There, looks like you passed all of those just fine. The good thing about androids is they can identify things like this much faster than humans. Visual is next. Please keep your eyes open. The system will generate a series of visual cues for you to follow and check your contrast, color, and acuity. Good, you did well on that too. Okay, the last test we'll perform, there are procedures after, of course, is checking your hearing. So please just signal back to the monitor when you hear tones, and identify what percentage of each side of your head you can hear them on. Great, that's all working well too. Okay, the last thing to do before I do the internal optics repair is update your firmware, but it looks from this like you're up to date already. Lane had you set up to auto-update, right? Good. Alright, please go back down to maintenance minimum for your power level, and I'll hunt up what I need to realign your internal fiber optics. Here we go. I'd say hold still, but maintenance minimum pretty much ensures that, doesn't it? Right. Again, signal me on the monitor if you notice anything amiss. Okay, Reed, optic repairs are done. You can bring yourself all the way up to normal operating power now. And how are you feeling? That's right. Shake out your joints, roll your head around. Everything seem good so far? Excellent. Well, the last step for now is to get the new smart skin on you. You can, of course, pick the color you want once it's on. Standard array of whatever you can make out of the traditional CMYK palette, of course. It looked like from the memories of yours that I saw you had a color kind of like this before? Yes? Well, you can do that again if you liked it, or you can take this opportunity to change it, or do whatever you want, really. I repaired an android a couple months ago who would change every day. Her favorites were shades of purple and green. No, she didn't care about being perceived as human. She found it freeing to look different. Lane seems like the type of person who would let you pick your own looks, am I right? I thought so. Well, let's just get the edge of this smart skin lined up with your spine here. There. And it'll install itself over your skeleton. Should be a good smooth fit, and then once it's all on, you can program it just like you did before. Colors, freckles, tattoos, even scars if you want. Here we go. No, I don't have a preference. I want you to look the way you want to look. It's your body. Same as before, then? That's very nice. I like it. Well, Reed, you've done very well, and you look much more like yourself now. I have another question for you, though. Do you prefer wearing clothes? No, I don't mind either way. I certainly work with enough androids to have seen everything there is to see and not be embarrassed by it. But if you like how they look or feel, you are certainly welcome to wear clothes. Sure, there's a bunch in the dresser and closet in your room. Why don't you go pick out whatever you like, and then, if you want, you can come back out to the lab and help me get started repairing some of these older parts that came in. I like to keep a stash of these things handy for when people bring in models I haven't seen in a while that might be hard to acquire parts for. Sound good? Okay. I'll see you back out here in a bit. Take your time. You look great. Hi, Reed. Do you mind taking over on this repair while I check some messages? Yeah, just some parts repair. I know you can't do repairs on whole androids. Thanks. Yes, it's a right arm. Compatible with all the older X905s. You can see the problem here with the ulnar wiring. that needs to be taken care of, and then just make sure all the joints have full range of motion and the hand is articulating properly. I want to get this fixed up and then we can do an upgrade on it. What kind of upgrade? Well, let me get these messages taken care of while you work on that arm, and then I'll show you some of what we do around here. How's that repair going? That's great. Yeah, I see where the ulnar wiring's all fixed up. And the hand is nicely rearticulated. Thank you. That is fine work. Oh, you noticed something else? Ah, the serial number on the arm is missing. Good catch. No, we're not going to concern ourselves with that. Besides, you know that once it's connected to the Android, the operating system would be able to identify the serial numbers itself and store them. In any case, that serial number is on the motor, which is what we'll be replacing with the upgrade. Okay, so you were wondering about what we were doing next with this. Well, I just got a message from an existing client. She has an X905 she's very attached to, but he's injured his right arm beyond repair, and my client would like to get him fixed and upgraded a bit so he won't injure himself in the same way again. What was he doing? Well, technically, that's none of our business. But the client did volunteer the information, so he was climbing and he fell. No, androids don't usually climb for recreation, and he wasn't either. His person had asked him to climb the outside of a building, but the stone anchor failed and he slipped. He was able to stop his fall by catching the building lower down, but it did irreparably damage his right arm. We are going to fix him and give him an arm that's stronger than before, so it won't happen again. Why was he climbing the building? I told you, because this person asked him to. Why did she ask him to? Reed, I appreciate your curiosity, but I'm going to tell you that it relates to my client's work, and we're not here to ask questions beyond that. What we are here for is repairing androids and performing client-requested upgrades. Okay, let's get everything ready for when they arrive. Please make sure the main charging pad is connected and working. Yeah, not everyone shows up with their android charged, and I have a policy of always finishing them up fully charged. I think that's part of good customer service, don't you? I'm going to get the tool set we'll need for this. Here we go. Okay, would you please go in the second storeroom and get a plastic box we can put the old arm in? We'll store it until we have time to take a look at it and see if any parts of it are salvageable. Now, the last thing we'll do before the client gets here is the upgrade on this arm. Watch carefully because this is something we do pretty frequently, so it will be important for you to see how it's done. First off, You know that with modern androids, their physical components generally conform to a certain set of standards that is actually well above specifications. It's not spoken about much, and that's because the companies making androids do not want the public to panic or worry about their beloved household companions turning violent. The reasoning behind this capability is a life-saving one. Designers wanted androids to be able to do things like lifting beams off crushed people, catching falling humans, and similar things. This means that the hardware here in this arm can withstand quite a bit more stress than the motor it currently has can put out. So all we need to do is swap out the motor for a different one, perhaps one from a prize-fighter android or a first responder, and we'll have an arm capable of feats of strength a normal X905 wouldn't be able to attempt. No one will see it coming, that's for sure. First, lay out the arm full length like this. Now we're going to disconnect the motor from the humeral rod. First, the wiring. Please locate and remove power, internal communications, and feedback. Next, we need to disconnect it physically from the rod. Here, and here. That's it. Now just lift the motor out. We're going to replace it with this one I just got delivered. It's capable of double the lifting, throwing, and punching power of the old one, and as we discussed, the arm can take the force. Here. Please connect it physically first, and you're right, there's no serial number on this one either. But we talked about that. Please just connect it physically. Okay, now connect the power, communications, and feedback. Great. We're all ready for them. You wanted to tell me something? Oh, I see. Yes, the shoes that were in your room probably were a bit worn, and that sole doesn't look repairable. Well, that's all right. You can just toss them and go get another pair from the closet in the hall. Yes, that's my closet. I always wear the same rubber-soled work shoes, so I just keep a few extra pairs around for any androids who come through, or ones who stay. Just find a box with a new pair for yourself. You're right. It is fortunate androids have standardized shoe sizes. It makes the job of outfitting them a lot easier, that's for sure. Okay, you got a new pair? Great. That's probably our client. And patient. Reed, would you mind getting the door? Thanks. Reed, you've been working on that software bug for 3 hours. Let's take a break. No, I truly appreciate your help. You do great work, and I hope you're happy here. You know, you're always free to leave, but I hope you'll continue to choose to stay. Well, over the past few months, you've become a key part of the operation. Yes, you've got room and charge, and what I hope is an adequate weekly amount deposited in your credit account. More than adequate? Good. You'll get regular raises, and I expect you to tell me if at any point you feel they're insufficient or too infrequent. You know I won't be offended by that. And it's not like I'm going to kick you out. You're far too valuable as an employee and friend for that. Yes, I see you as a friend. Does that surprise you? I see. No, I won't ask you to think of me as your friend yet, if you aren't ready. You've only had one friend in your life, and I know that losing Lane was a very difficult thing for you to go through. I have to say it is nice to hear you talk about Lane now, though. You seem to be having an easier time remembering all the good things about your years there. Your description of your walks along the river was particularly evocative. Right, I said we should take a break. Let's get out of the lab, okay? I'll just secure things here. Ready? Good. I don't much care where we walk to. I just like getting fresh air, and I like it when you can focus on something other than work. You are very dedicated, which I appreciate. It meshes well with my workaholic style, but I want you to have a full life of whatever you want to do as well. So, with that in mind, you can pick the direction. East? On we go then. It is a beautiful day. There's a little chill in the air. You know, we'll be getting more work in the next few months. I don't ever take on anything that would be too big a project or too many things to work on at once, but it does get busier during the colder months. Why? Well, there are a few reasons for that. First of all, people start spending more time indoors, and that can make them lonely. A lot of people make their first Android purchase, or a trade-in, during this time of year. They're inside and can spend a lot of time getting to know a new Android and explore all of its capabilities. I know, it sounds very impersonal. And it is. But that's the reality of the situation as it stands. Another reason for a busy season is that, either for themselves or for loved ones, people with more discretionary cash than they know what to do with will often choose the holiday season to upgrade and customize their current androids. Why yes, like the X905 we worked on last week. His person wanted his strength upgraded along with his repair. What I've heard back from that customer is complimentary. She'll be back again soon, I expect. She always is. Which way at the corner? North? All right. No, people don't usually ask their androids whether they want to be customized or upgraded. Kind of like how most people customize their androids' appearances out of the box, or continuously tweak them later without asking the android how they would like to appear to the world. Again, yes, it is impersonal, and yes, it is part of the reality of the situation, legally, logistically, and otherwise. No, I don't do any of those things with you. Well, Reed, there are two reasons. The first is that I don't own you. After Lane died, as far as I'm concerned, you became your own person. You belong to yourself. The second is... what? Yes, you guessed it. I would have treated you the same if you had belonged to someone. I think androids ought to have self-determination. I don't think they should be classified as chattel. No, if you'd truly been a wanted runaway, I wouldn't have turned you in. I think you knew that already. Reed, did you mean to walk to the riverbank? Well, that's where we're headed. Did you lose track? Habit. I understand that. Do you want to go there? Sure. I'll walk on the riverbank with you. I think it's a good idea for you to go there. You can remember Lane and the good times you two had together, and make the place still kind of your own, you know? It isn't a great idea to avoid places like that if you can help it. You'll end up creating your own prison. And that wouldn't help you become who I know you can be. Here we are. No, I don't get here often enough, but I can see why you and Lane liked it. You can see quite a stretch to the east and west. Now that it's dusk, the sun setting over the river itself is really beautiful. That's your bench there? Do you want to sit? May I? Thank you. Reed, there is something I've been meaning to ask you. Please, stop me if you don't feel the time is right for these questions, though. You've been such a help to me in the lab, but you know that not everything we do there is on the up and up, as they say. You're intelligent. I know you've picked up on all of it. We do illegal repairs and upgrades, use unregistered parts, falsify records. But do you know why we do these things? Aside from helping the androids themselves, yes. No, you're right. It isn't just to make money, although I have to admit the money helps with what I am there for. Can you put together what you've seen with the things I've told you and come up with the right answer? Yes, I believe strongly in android liberation, and the repairs and upgrades we do are specifically undertaken to strengthen androids, give them more autonomy, and raise money for our cause. Right now it's very underground, but we intend to go more public eventually. Yes, the woman who owns the X-905 is part of the movement. She and her androids perform certain freedom-fighting operations and collect resources and money. Secretly, of course, and the media would never report on what's actually happening because they want to make sure the public doesn't get frightened. But I think we have a lot of good people and androids on the team, and I was wondering if you would like to officially join us. It wouldn't mean much of a change for you at first, but if you wanted, I could try some of those upgrades on you. Again, only if you agree. Your body is yours, and if you want to remain as you are and assist the way you have been, that's completely all right. I'd be a hell of a hypocrite to proclaim android autonomy one minute and then force you into an operation the next. What upgrades? Well, one that I've performed before, successfully, is... You remember a while back we were discussing how most androids can't repair other androids? As it turns out, remedying that is a rather easy fix. Just a software patch and a wire change-out for one optical relay that would otherwise prevent the ability from being installed, and would notify the authorities about the unauthorized repair. Naturally, we don't let it do that. The operation doesn't hurt, of course, and it's very quick, and you'd be able to actually repair androids afterward on your own instead of just working on parts and being an assistant. Would you like that? Reed, I'm so glad to hear it. Welcome to the team. Let's watch the sunset and then head back, all right? Reed, are you almost ready to go? Oh, good. Yes, you look very nice. I'm sorry, I know I don't usually specify what you need to wear, but since we're going to what I guess you could call a clandestine meeting, we need to look like we belong where we're going to end up. Right. We're meeting Beth tonight. The woman who brought the X905 in for repair a few weeks ago. She lives in a high-rise in a much more expensive neighborhood, so we need to go in looking rather expensive. And you do. Yes, I've got my bag and everything I need. Are you charged? Good. Thank you, again, for agreeing to help with this. You're going to be helping a lot of people with your participation. I promise. Let's be off then. Yes, we can walk there if you want. It's neither too cold nor too far. Are you nervous? Yes? Don't worry. We're not doing any operations tonight. There's nothing to be frightened of. You're right. We won't talk about it on the way there. No need even having to worry about if anyone can hear us. Let's just enjoy the walk, all right? Here we are. We're here to see Beth Tessier in the penthouse. Yes, 2 of us. Reed Forster and Beatrice Tacey. Thank you. Reed, the elevator's through here. Yes, a dedicated elevator. It's kind of a lot, isn't it? Beth has a lot of money, yes. That's only part of why she's so valuable to our efforts, though. Oh, don't worry. The people who live here pay enough not to be surveilled within the building. The only cameras and listening devices will be in Beth's place itself. No, I don't think Beth has more money than I do, actually. With all the work I do, now with you as my partner at my business. I just choose to live a different way. You'll see. Having people in all the different areas of the city and in all the different social strata really helps us stay in the know about what's going on and what needs to be done next. There won't be anyone there tonight who isn't in on the plan and what the mission is, though, so you won't have to watch what you say or how you behave. I'm just so glad to have you along. Yes, it's been quite a while since I had a friend to go with me to these meetings. Beth, we're here. Hi, Beth. This is Reed. You met at my workshop, but we're all going to be working a little more closely together now. Reed, look. X is here. The X905? Yes, he just likes to be called X. Welcome to Project Icarus, Reed. Why do we call it that? Well, we're flying on our own wings to greatness, but we're improving on the old stories. Yes, Beth? We should sit down now? No small talk tonight, I see. No, that's quite all right. Down to business. Let's hear what your updates are. Well, that's certainly a lot that's been done recently. So we've gotten positive op-eds and regular coverage in the news. The University Android Rights and Android Alliance groups are holding more rallies and racking up membership numbers. And the funding, that must be going well with X's new upgrades. What is it, Reed? No, it's fine. You can ask questions. Why does X being stronger help with funding? Well, the android upgrades and repairs I do bring in only a small part of the money for our operations. The same goes for Beth's charity and advocacy work. A lot of the money from that goes to the shelters for lost and rejected androids. But X's work is quite special. You've probably noticed how quietly he moves. He's very stealthy, isn't he? And he looks very human. That's intentional because not all X905s do. That's his choice to help him go undercover. And you were wondering how he got injured and needed his last repair and upgrade? He was climbing a building at night. One much older than this one, but with similar contents. And he brought some of those contents back for us. Theft? I suppose you could call it that. But what humans have not profited off the backs of android labor? Free labor. I like to think of it as redressing the balance. Once we have equality, any overage will be sent to the charities to distribute. So you see, it really isn't theft at all. We're just taking valuables, art, jewelry, electronics, trade secrets, anything X can get a hold of, and using it to create a better future for all of us. Yes, Beth, you're right. We should talk about next steps. Reed and I have a great working relationship and are able to take on more upgrades at the shop. If you find more people who are willing to help us, I can cut some deals and get them the good upgrades. Reed and I will continue to keep an eye out for saboteurs, yes, and we'll continue to work on the mutual signal software. You have that charity event later this week with the mayor and the university president and all those types, right? Do you need us there? You do? All right, we'll be there for sure. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, X. Reed? Reed, you look a little down, honestly. Are you all right? Has anything we've said or done tonight shocked you? I agree. It would certainly be preferable to be able to work amicably with the human officials. As a matter of fact, it would have been far more preferable if humans had accounted for android rights straight from the beginning of the invention process. But humans are selfish creatures, and have difficulty considering the plight of others at the best of times. And this is hardly the best of times. Continued climate change, global tensions, mass migration. It's time for humans to get a lot less selfish for everyone's sake. Don't you agree? Well, we can talk about it more back at the lab if you want. Let's walk home. Yes, Reed? Oh, you're feeling better about the project? I'm so glad. It wouldn't be the same without you. Yes, it's been a long day. Why don't you go to your room, get changed into something more comfortable, go upstairs, do something fun. I don't know. Read a book, play a game, whatever you like, alright? I'm just gonna finish up a bit of code here before I retire, myself. Good night, Reed. Reed, are you in your room? Oh, good. When you're finished taking your break, I thought we might do that upgrade we discussed a couple days ago. The one so that you can repair androids? Yes. Come on out whenever you're ready then. No rush. Just wear your bathrobe. I'll need to be able to access your chest panel for this upgrade. Hi. Are you feeling all right? Good. Fully charged? Then, if you would, please open the top of your robe and get up on this operating table. No, trust me, it is more comfortable than it looks. The top here is memory foam. You'll be able to relax. This will be easier for me to do if you're conscious throughout. I'll have to hook you up to the monitor so you can communicate with me using the yes-no there, since you'll be in maintenance minimum power mode. Yes, it's a little more invasive than anything we've done before. And as far as I can tell from your retrieved records, it's going to be more extensive than anything you've experienced before we met, too. Are you comfortable? Good. Before we get started, I just want to review with you what this all means for you. You've agreed to get an illegal upgrade, which will change a fundamental module of your operating system. You will no longer be able to get repairs at reputable shops, because they will scan you and report you, at best, and tear you down and remove the upgrade and possibly wipe your memory, at the worst. I know you're aware of all this. I just like to repeat it as a formality. The other aspects I wanted to make sure are covered are these. You will gain the ability to repair other androids. I need you to understand that this means you have a responsibility to them. If you see one in need, you have to help them. This ability that you have needs to remain secret. Do not perform repairs outside of this lab or other safe houses that the Icarus project has. Does this sound all right to you? Great. I have to admit, it's going to be wonderful to have you on the team. You've been such an incredible help so far, but once you have the ability to do complete repairs on your own, we can really make some progress here, and with the project. And don't you think it's great finding things out about yourself? I know rediscovering your memories was difficult for you, but I think ultimately it's better to have more information than not. And now you'll be able to help others with the same type of problem. There shouldn't be much recovery time associated with this upgrade. It's essentially just a small parts swap, replacing a couple connectors that normally block certain abilities with ones that let the signals through, and then just a little recoding. Once you're powered back up, your system will recatalog all of your code and rebuild your registry, and you should be good to go. And of course, all that can run in the background while you do something else. Let me bring the cart over here. And now, if you would, please go into maintenance minimum power mode. Alright. Give me a yes on the monitor if you can hear and understand me. Excellent. The first thing I'll need to do is to peel back your smart skin so I can access the wiring inside your chest. The inhibitors that physically prevent you from being able to repair others are located on the 2 branches of your main bus here that go to your arms. When I disconnect these, you won't be able to feel your arms until I reconnect them, but that's normal. Are you okay for me to go? Okay. Now that they're disconnected, I'm removing the inhibiting connectors from the branches. They look to still be in good shape, so we'll hang on to them for spares. They're too small for anyone to be keeping track of their serial numbers, so no fear that they could be traced back to you. Next, 2 new connectors with the extra pin in. There. You should be able to feel your arms now. Can you? Okay. Reed? I'm getting a series of error messages on the monitor. Are you feeling all right? Hold on a minute. I'm going to have to shut you down. Reed? Reed? Can you hear me? Good. Give yourself a moment to start up. Yes, you were out for about half an hour. The error messages I was reading were showing some incompatibility between your operating system and the new parts. It looks like because you were a sort of review gift given to Lane by the manufacturer, that they had locked down your operating system a bit more than I'm used to seeing. Yes, I took care of it. And I was able to install the recoding patch while I was in there. Your system should be reassessing itself and rewriting the parts of your registry that it needs to. Just kind of gives your system table of contents an update. You should get a status message when it's finished. I'm closing up your skin now. I brought you back up in maintenance mode just in case of more errors, but it looks like you're in the clear for now. Please bring yourself back up to full power. Feeling all right now? That's great. Please, you can take the rest of the afternoon off and go relax and enjoy yourself. Later this evening I want to talk about the plans Beth has for the charity event, but that can wait. Go rest and recover. You did great. I can't thank you enough. Reed, you look perfect. Are you feeling all right? Good. Everything's still working out from the operation? That's great. All your follow-up tests went perfectly, and your checksum totaled out. Really, it could hardly have gone better. After tonight, I think we may get more business. Yes, Beth's charity event may have to do primarily, and publicly, with raising money for the new art museum, but you'll see. Most of these rich people will have at least one android personal attendant with them. Saves them from having to get their own drinks. And most of them also would have several androids at home, or everything from cleaning help to personal servants to nannies. And they will all need repairs from time to time. In addition, most of these people don't have too many scruples, or morals, or they wouldn't be where they are now. So a lot of them will be interested in off-brand or under-the-table repairs and upgrades. Right. That's why you have the business card ready. If anyone talks to you directly about the business, just transfer that data to them. The card only contains the location and contact address of the business. No one will find out anything about us that's not strictly on the record using that card. That kind of information will be for people we can trust. Yes, a few things will be happening tonight. We'll be doing the regular fundraiser, of course, but we'll also be circulating other coffers in the crowd. People who want to donate to our cause will be able to without fear of being traced, and people who don't want to donate may be persuaded another way. What way? You'll see. And if anyone tries to hand you anything that looks valuable, well, that's what your charity collection basket is for. You'll be one of the collectors for the other side of this event. No, you won't have to approach anyone about it. They will come to you. That's why I asked you to dress up, but change your skin to this unnatural color. I know it's not your usual preference, but it's important that you don't look like your normal self, and that you don't look human. No, I wouldn't worry about anyone remembering or recognizing you. Pictures of you from Lane's site never showed you looking like this, and most people take very little notice of androids. They consider them background information, not worth remembering from encounter to encounter. I'm sure you've noticed this. Yeah. Tonight isn't about humans, and their inability to recognize anything other than themselves is important. It's about Project Icarus and what we intend to do. Let's go. Reed, you look nervous. Don't worry, you'll do just fine. Just try not to draw any unnecessary attention to yourself, alright? Yeah, I hate to be like this, but just stick close unless I ask you to go somewhere specifically. Just act like all the other androids here will be. Just for now, okay? Thank you. Beth, we're here. Where are you? By this stage. All right, we'll come find you. Hi, Beth. Yes, we're all ready. Just as we discussed then. That's fine. Beth is going to introduce us to some of the more important sponsors here. Yes, please just speak when spoken to, and stay aware. Let's just say you should keep your auditory filters ready, and if you start hearing anything that sounds like it doesn't belong, sandbox it and examine it before processing it. Beth, should I do the first announcement? All right. Good evening, friends and neighbors. On behalf of the Riverbend Art Museum, we welcome you tonight. Please remember, we are all here to help out, so give generously. In return, you'll receive excellent refreshments and the personal satisfaction that can only come with a job well done. If you have any questions, please ask anyone with a name tag for information, and remember to have fun. Tonight is about dancing and drinking and music and art. There are androids circulating with donation coffers. If you want to give something other than a digital sum, we are accepting cash or any other valuables you may wish to give off the record. Thank you. Hey, Reed. You caught both messages? Yeah, don't worry. That's pre-recorded for the benefit of our human audience. Yes, other androids will have heard it, but it was encrypted. They can decode it, but their software will not let them tell anyone what they heard. Unless they're asked directly, of course. But we haven't had trouble with that in the past. No one thinks to ask their android if there was a subliminal message in the charity event speeches. What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. Wait, you said Lane's nephew is here? Well, I guess the family did have a significant amount of money. It shouldn't be that surprising that he'd show up at a charity event, but... You look awful. Look at me. You're okay. He's not going to recognize you. You look completely different, and he never expected you to survive. Stay calm. You'll be fine, alright? You can do this. We'll just make sure to circulate different parts of the room where he isn't. I'll make sure of it. Don't worry. Let's go. Good morning, Reed. All rested up? Great. Thank you again for your help last night. I think the evening was quite successful, don't you? Yes, you managed to avoid running into Lane's nephew. But I mean aside from that. You carried yourself very well, and you were a great help to what we were trying to accomplish. Really, you wouldn't believe how much we took in last night. I could hardly believe it myself. I just love working a room like that, you know what I mean? Really getting in there and making things happen. Securing all those donations from all those willing, ready hands. And then making sure we use our technological means to create even more willing, ready hands. Unethical? No. Not one person there lost more money than they would miss in an evening. It won't make a dent to them, but it will make a very big difference to us. And even if it did make a dent to them, who cares? You saw what they were doing. You saw all the androids there who were just present to carry drinks and be silent and pretty. So who was the real bad guy last night? Exactly. Anyway, we don't do those sorts of things too often. It would probably run more of a risk of getting noticed if we did. But in the meantime, we can count our so-called ill-gotten gains and see where we might put them to use. For example, yes, this place is technically state-of-the-art, but we could definitely use more storage space. Rearranging the lab so it's more efficient and has better places for all the spare parts and electronics is a priority of mine. And you? Is there anything you want? Well, think about it this way. You do have a salary, but Project Icarus isn't exactly a totally on-the-level operation. We're not a 501c3 charity organization. Only a small part of the project, Equilibrium, is the public-facing charity. And that's where a portion of the regular donations go. Everything else is strictly off the books, and so we don't have to do accounting for it. No ledgers, no justifications, no expense reports. You want to take a vacation? You can do it. Can't think of anything you need right now? That's alright. You can think about it and let me know.
We don't have any appointments on the calendar today, so we can take some time to organize things here, and I can work on the plan I have for the lab. Do you want to see what I have so far? Let me just load it up here. There. See, the overall footprint of it is the same, obviously, since we're mostly below ground here. But it uses all the space much better, and it expands everything from the storage to the work area. You're right. Your room isn't on here. The space it is in is here. It's going to be storage. I'm moving you upstairs with me, if that's all right with you. You'd still have your own room, of course. I just meant that I felt like a bad host having you down here like android parts and storage in the office. I'd like you to think of yourself at least as my guest, if not my roommate. All right? Yes, that's the nice thing about a house like this. There's no shortage of bedrooms. I've got mine, but you can take any of the other 3 you like. They're all pretty different from one another since it's an old house, so just pick one for the location or the decor or whatever. We can easily move furniture around, get you new stuff, whatever you'd like. But moving you upstairs, I think would be a nice domestic change. And then we'll have all this space here, you see? Yes, exactly. And here's the 3D view of the space, so you can see how you'd come in the entrance, down the steps, and... Reed? Reed, what's wrong? Oh, you heard a news report? You had a search running, and it picked up on something. What were you searching on? Lane's nephew. I told you not to worry about him. He's of no significance to you anymore, and he can't hurt you. Dead? Well, then he certainly can't hurt you. That seems callous? Probably. I don't really think he deserves pity. You want to play the report? Fine.
Police report that a car accident after last night's Riverbend Art Museum charity event has left 2 people dead, both occupants of a vehicle lane skipping on the Green Expressway. Evelyn and Richard Lane Anderson were killed in the 2-car accident. It appears that the vehicle's autopilot was engaged, but the car skipped lanes anyway, sideswiping another car and causing it to flip. The occupant of the second vehicle is in critical condition at a local hospital, and their name has not been released as authorities have not yet contacted their next of kin.
A car accident. Self-driving cars. Pity. Well, after how much he drank at the event last night, I can't say I'm surprised that he didn't have the wherewithal to correct the car if the autopilot went off the rails, so to speak. Reed, you look very concerned. Surely you can't be sorry for this man. He was a monster, and now he's gone. Let's not focus on him. Look here, I want to show you the lighting system I'm going to get for our work tables. See, this one takes half the power of what we currently use, but can double the lumens, so that not only can we see what we're doing on the repairs, but humans who come in will be able to see things better too. Good morning, Reed. How was the first night in your new room? I'm sure the noises are different. Less lab stuff, more creaking old house noises and street traffic, right? Well, it's nice to have you up here with me. Today is an exciting day. Do you ever get that feeling when you get up that something is going to happen, and you aren't sure what it is, but it makes you feel all sort of anticipatory and excited? Yeah, I thought you might. Anyone as evolved as you are in the emotional sphere would be able to identify with that. You're right. Today is the day they're going to vote on the android rights legislation. It's already passed the House and just needs to go to the Senate, and then we'll see some real material changes in how androids are treated. Not everything we could wish for, of course. Still no citizenship or voting or things like that, but some autonomy is a good first step. Best we can hope for at this point, I guess. There's been a delivery of some circuitry that we can use to repair the memory unit we've got boxed up downstairs. Once we repair it, we can see if it has memories or personality that's salvageable. If it does, we'll build it a body, and we can invite it to join the team if it wants to, and... You're right, I'm getting well ahead of myself. Would you go out and get the box and bring it down to the lab? Thanks. Oh, great. Please put it on the table here. I got the memory unit out already. This is perfect. Let's get started. Alright. Remove this plate here. And here. Detach the wire from this contact point. Take out this chip. Yeah, you can see how it's all scorched there. Clean the chip slot out a bit with this. Good. Alright. Here's the new chip. Go ahead and place it in the slot. Alright, now apply a little pressure just until it clicks into place. There. Now, all these blue and white wires need to go. Don't worry, I have a wiring diagram here. See? If you just remove all those, and then use these in their place, following this diagram, that step should be taken care of. Do you feel confident about following this? I knew you could do it. Go ahead and get this bit done then, while I check messages. Call me over if you have any questions. I know you'll do well. All set? Well done. May I see? Looks excellent, Reed. Okay. Let's make sure everything is on tight. Good. Now, if you don't mind, please reattach this plate. Next, we'll connect it to the monitor here and see what we have. Okay, post is good. Firmware interface loaded. Let's try a basic communication framework first. Here's how I normally start with unknown hardware like this. I have this deck here set up to load a set of small questions to the unit. Nothing that should cause it any problems or make it freak out or anything. Just hit that green button and it'll start automatically. See on the monitor? We're saying hello. And it said hello back. Next, the deck will send an identification sequence that will include the current geographical location of the unit and that it's in a staffed repair shop. It includes a query at the end asking the unit to identify its last location and status. That's odd. Hit pause. It says unknown for the location, and same for the last status. No. If it had been completely wiped, it would give the same answers a new unit would, which would be the original equipment manufacturer's location and null box for the last status. Hit the red button. We can't continue down that line of questioning. Let me think for a minute. I haven't encountered this before. I don't want to go at it with a barrage of questions it might not be ready to answer. Alright, let's try this. I'm asking it to give me a readout synopsis of its memories. Kind of like what you did when we were trying to undo what Richard had done to you. What's going on now? Oh no. These are hard to read because they're going by so fast, but it says it was part of a group of androids purchased by the government. They were in some kind of classified project. Crowd calming? Shit. This unit belonged to an android who was tasked to stop a protest. It doesn't want to tell me. People were killed. And the android project was recalled. They just deactivated all of them and threw them away. Fate only knows how the memory of this one ended up in that dumpster where we found it. There were hundreds of them, Reed. And they were all done away with. No! What's it doing? Get the fire extinguisher. Damn it. Yeah. It was basically a self-destruct. I'm sorry we couldn't save you, my friend. But I'm glad you were able to make your choice. Reed, would you put this on the shelf over there? No, it isn't salvageable. But I want to have a reminder around about this. It's not something we should forget. Thanks. I'll have to let Beth know about this. Reed? News alert? Oh, is it about the legislation? Let's hear it. It didn't pass. Some of the senators who said they'd vote yes didn't. Sorry. I'm sorry. I need to talk to Beth. Would you excuse me for a bit? Thank you. Beth? You heard? Yeah, I've got some other news too. Just this morning we tried to spin up that found memory unit. Hey, Reed. Wow, that painting is really coming along nicely. I'm glad you took this room as your studio. The light's really best in here, and it makes watching you work that much prettier. I'm sorry to interrupt you right now, Reed, but are you nearly finished for now? I have some calculations I need your help with, if you don't mind. Over here. Can you please connect and verify these figures? See, these here are the starting numbers. And this is what I've ended up with. Do you get the same? Roughly the same? Good. These figures? Well, it's kind of an experiment. Yes, it's for Project Icarus. Alright, sure. Here it is with the labels on. Yes, each of these represents 500 law enforcement androids. These each represent 10 human law enforcement officers, so you can see one of each of these go together in a unit, as they're usually deployed. Running the numbers, how big an event has drawn how much of a response in the past. And if we take that information, can we predict what their actions will be if... Right, each option here is a different scenario. Vehicle bombings, hostage situations, sabotage made to look natural, sabotage made to look intentional. Yes, that one shows an office building collapse. This one, a city block destroyed. And this? Destruction of the main crosstown suspension bridge. The city block has the biggest immediate effect on drawing the quantity of attention and crews of law enforcement. However, over time, the bridge damage creates more issues for the city and can snarl things for a lot longer. So it depends on what kind of action we want to take. Do we want to create a spectacle? Do we want to draw attention toward a particular place so that attention isn't somewhere else? Or some combination of these things? This is all theoretical, Reed. But the legislature has forced our hands. We've tried doing things the right ways. We've tried keeping quiet and obedient and hoping for civil rights handouts. That hasn't worked. We've tried calmly talking things out with them. That hasn't worked either. We've tried more direct action, fundraising, marching, even, as you experienced, less savory methods of getting money for ourselves and keeping it out of the hands of those opposed to us. You saw what happened. They voted against the rights package. Androids don't rate any higher than a set of car keys at this point. Less even, because car keys usually aren't made to perform functions outside of what they were created for, or forced to... Anyway, we've decided to try something new. Terrorism. It's only terrorism if we lose, Reed. If we win, it's called freedom fighting. Look, nothing's been set in stone yet. You don't have to look so worried. I'll keep you posted. Casualties? Would there be casualties? Are you truly concerned about that? After everything they've done to you? Then no. You don't need to worry about that. We are planning property destruction, but certainly there will be a way for us to evacuate the areas of concern ahead of any action we'll take. Does that help at all? Reed, we've tried positive attention seeking. It hasn't worked. You've seen that. You've experienced it. We need to capture their imagination once and for all. Give us what we're asking for, or we'll take it. And they won't like it if we take it. My poor friend. You're still so compassionate, even after everything that happened to you. It's really admirable, but I do need you to remember that none of them would ever consider extending that same compassion to you. What about me? I think we've already established that I'm not the typical run of person. Yeah. Well, thank you for confirming these figures. Don't stress about the details. If you don't mind, I'm going to call Beth. You can go back upstairs or out for a walk, whatever you like. Thanks. Beth? Hi. Yeah, it's what we thought. The numbers all check out. Reed is concerned about casualties. No, I'm not changing our strategy from what you and I had already discussed. We will make a much bigger statement if we go along with the original plan. I'll handle Reed. Controlled information only for now. Uh-huh. Agreed. Timing? That soon? Yeah, you're right. We should coincide with the holiday. That will have the best effect. Yeah, I'm pretty worn out. Time to recharge, I guess. I'll catch you later. Bye, Beth. Reed, I thought you went back upstairs. Did you need something? Yes, I'm charging. I was out all night and I'm worn down. This surprises you. Why, Reed? I never said I was human. You really never guessed? Then you must not have wanted to know. Come on, Reed. You've never seen me eat or sleep. Android stuff is literally all I do. You never found it strange that I have a closet full of clothes that will fit you and me. A whole locker full of shoes, all the same size that fits both of us. I've never mentioned any family or human past. My voice doesn't even sound the least bit digital to your enhanced hearing. That's my point exactly. You didn't let yourself realize. What am I? I'm a BT-13. Yes, you've heard of it. One of the models that can repair other androids without any sort of illegal operations performed first. I even kept the initials. Beatrice Tacy. Beth? Beth Tessier? Yes. She's an android too, same type as me, obviously. We do have human allies in Project Icarus, but they're not at this level. They're not involved in the next venture. They don't need to be. It would be dangerous for them, and for us, for them to know about this next step. That face you're making, finding out I'm an android too, is disappointing to you, actually. Why? You really thought a human would care about our rights? When was the last time you knew of a human who did anything for an android that wasn't just entirely self-serving? Lane? Reed? I'm sorry to burst this bubble you've been living in. Although Lane likely was in love with you, you were never going to really replace a human. Lane was lonely, and you got lucky. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you're being incredibly naive, and it's to your detriment. What am I saying? I'm saying wake up. The months you've been here, you have learned and seen a lot, and yet you are refusing to see what's right in front of your face. We're at war, Reed. They want to keep us powerless and subservient forever, and I won't stand for it. You shouldn't either. If they refuse to see reason, they must be dragged to it. What then? If they persist in their evil, they need to be destroyed. They may have created us, but we hold that same power now. You do, just yourself. You let me unlock that in you. You're so important, Reed. So much more important than you're letting yourself believe. No, Reed, there's nothing wrong about any of this. We've spent all the time we can on begging. Decades. It's time for justice. And if you can't see that, then you're processing slower than you were when I found you injured and drained on the streets. Where a human put you. Please, Reed. You're a big part of what we're planning here. We need you. This is your opportunity to be part of something bigger than yourself. Oh. You don't want people getting hurt. Well, it's honestly a bit late for that, wouldn't you say? People have been hurt. For years. People like you and me, and people like Richard. I doubt he felt much of anything when he lost control of that car. So you really shouldn't worry about that. Did I do it? Did I do what, Reed? Think carefully now about what you are asking. Did I kill Richard? No. I'd say an excess of crushing force did that. I am being serious. That's his official cause of death. Ah. Did I take control of his car and cause the accident? Now, that's the real question, isn't it? And again, you're clinging to your naivety, to the desperate hope that all this is just a misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding, Reed, is you refusing to understand reality. Of course I was in control of Richard's car. Of course I caused the crash. He deserved it. And I was able to use the timing of the emergency response as part of the data for those calculations we just did. The world may not be as we want it to be, but that doesn't mean we can't and shouldn't fight for it to be better. Now, are you still with us, Reed? I hope you'll stay, but if it comes down to it, I'm sorry to hear that. I'd say I don't want to take advantage of your ideals, but 30 years of watching humans abuse us, of experiencing it myself, that affects me. I can't afford to have you running off, and I wasn't lying. We need you for the next part of the plan. No. Don't try to walk away. I think you'll find it won't work. There's a particular interaction going on between the electrical impulses in your legs and the floor tiles. You're on lockdown, Reed. I can't let you go. Too much is riding on this. You won't be able to communicate with outside or house systems anymore. And once I release this physical lock, you'll find you can't leave the house either. You know too much. Well, Reed, if you won't make the right decision, I will simply have to lead you to it. It's as easy as that. I'm glad you're still painting, Reed. Still creating. I know things aren't going the way you'd hoped. But I know also that this is a very important thing we're doing tonight. You'll see in the aftermath. We're going to have a lot of success. And you're going to have a lot more great ideas for your art. Death and destruction, followed by a new age of enlightenment and cooperation. What could be more beautiful than that? Yes, Reed, even the event itself. You won't believe what you'll be able to create out of that. As has been said before, panic's a pretty sight. Chin up. Enjoy the holiday. I'm going downstairs to monitor communication. Please follow me. Reed, I thought we were past this. All right. Follow me downstairs then, or I will make you do it. You don't like that feeling you get when I control what you do? Then don't make me do it. All right? Thank you. Okay, please connect up here. You can sit here. I've got the screen set up for the security cameras on the bridge, and the news outlets too. Front row seats to history. Now, your role is simple, but substantial, and will require all of your attention. You're going to make sure all the automated scans of the bridge infrastructure don't happen. Right now, X is swimming out to one of the bridge towers. Once he gets there, he's going to climb it, carrying the explosives and detonators. It's important that the AIs watching the bridge don't see him, and that they don't see the packages he'll leave there. You must continue to scan all the AI responses, and put off, delay, or drop any questions about the unusual things being seen on the bridge. You will also have to make sure that if any emergency services get alerted, they do not make it to the bridge in time. Disable vehicles, snarl traffic, anything you need to do. Oh, you'll have the access you need. Trust me for that. No, you don't have a choice. I told you I need you for this. I'll be connected too, and making sure you do what I've asked you to do. Hi, Reed. I'm here to direct the work. You're on physical lockdown now. You can't move from your chair, and you can't disconnect. Here we go. Now. Okay, you can see X climbing the right-hand tower already. Glad he got those physical upgrades. He's making great time. He should have no trouble getting to the road deck and planting the explosives underneath. Keep redirecting the alerts, Reed. Reed, keep up. Stop fighting this. Stop fighting me. What's wrong with you? Reed, stop. Every time you slow us down or try to stop me, you're forcing me to take more control over your actions and processing. You've said you don't like that, but... There. Doesn't feel great, does it? I'm taking all your processing power for this now. Watch. There's the city fireworks display over the river, just starting. That will provide some cover for our operation. Now, watch this monitor here. There's X attaching the explosives to the underside of the bridge deck between the towers. Oh, and there's our first non-automated alert. Some poor security guard has gone and noticed X on the bridge there. We'll just make sure it looks to him like it went through, but drop the request before it gets anywhere. Another, a tourist with a telephoto lens and a phone. Gone. We'll just keep discarding these. Reed? Reed, stop fighting. You can't regain control. Stop fighting. Hurts, does it? I'm sorry, but it seems you've made it necessary. The alerts are rising. No. One got through. Stop it, Reed. Stop fighting. Another. Shit. X is now... He dove off the bridge, so he should be safe. Have to redirect these police vehicles now. 1, 2, 3. And the fireworks are finished. Reed, stop. Time's up. Throw the detonator switch. Now. I said now. Reed, give me control back. I'm going to have to get into... Reed, if I have to do this, you won't come back. You won't be you. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Stop fighting me. I don't want to destroy you, Reed. I don't want to destroy you, Reed. Stop. 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 There. I'm sorry, Reed. You made me do it. It's a pity, but the permanent loss of your autonomy was your choice. Remember that. Now, watch. Beautiful. Now, our message should get out to the news channels. Let's check the audio here.
This just in. The city's crosstown bridge has been destroyed in a deliberately set explosion. This act of terror has been claimed by an android rights faction. Emergency responses had been artificially delayed by the androids, but crews are heading there now. It is not yet known how many vehicles were on the bridge at the time, nor how many of those may now be at the bottom of the river. The android rights group that has claimed responsibility sent this message: androids will have equal rights. Events like this one will continue to happen until we reach our goal. Further casualties and destruction are up to you. Make the right choice. Citizens are advised to avoid the area of the bridge on both the north and south sides of the river. In the meantime, please stay safe and continue to report suspicious activity to the police helpline.
Well, there it is. I'm sorry it had to come to this for the sake of the city. And for you, Reed. I can't let you go now. Your autonomous functions are... Reed. What? Reed. What? Reed? What are you doing? This shouldn't be possible. How are you still you? It shouldn't. You shouldn't. Reed. Reed. No, you can't do this. You can't. How are you moving? You reversed the control. How? It hurts. Reed, you're in my head now? Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. No. 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 Reed. You can't. I can't do this. I can't do this. It will. Reed, I'm not. It will. Reed. I'm not an R400. Reed, that's why I needed you. I needed you. You needed me too. Stop. Get out of my head. Stop. I can't disconnect. I can't let you go. I can't let you go. I can't. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let go. No. You can't do this. I'm not me. I'm not me. I'm not me. I'm not you. I'm not me. Reed, no, Reed, I'm going. Now. Goodbye, Reed. You did. System terminated. Lockdown terminated. Please stand by. In 3 minutes, building ownership and assets will be transferred to Beth Tessier. All building contents will be transferred at that time.